Welcome to What's on the Barrel. I'm Mike, and today I want to talk about what I got to do this past weekend, and that was attend the Owensboro Barrels and Barbecue event. It's a big time barbecue competition, but I was there for the bourbon event that was going on. Um, a lot of distilleries that were there, a lot of master distillers were there, and I got the opportunity to sit down and talk with them and kind of pick their brains a little bit and see what they were bringing to market and what's going on in the bourbon world. And my biggest takeaway was that it's a good time to be a consumer because there are a lot of distilleries that are plumb full of distillate and they need to do something with it. So it's kind of a perfect timing for consumers because, in COVID, we had that big spike in demand. So they were producing as much distilled as possible. And here we are 6 years later, and there's a decline in demand, and we have a huge supply coming. And that almost always translates into uh, a win for the consumer. So these distilleries, they got to figure out what they're going to do with all this distillate. And Fred No, he was talking about it this weekend, and he said, listen, he said, if a distillery tells you they're not overflowing with bourbon, they're full of shit. And that's his words, not mine. If you ever get to talk with him, you'll know that. So he was alluding to the fact that there's going to be some new offerings coming down the road because they need to move this distillate. And like one of them, we've seen this out for a few months now, the Knob Creek blenders, and his son Freddie, he basically took 10-year barrels, hand picked those, looked for the sweetest of the bunch, blended those together, and that gives you this sweet bourbon in the first batch of this. And then he alluded to the fact that, hey, we're probably going to see some more of these come out in the future with a little bit different flavor profile as they go through the rick houses and find something different and, collect those and blend those together and bring something out. So, long story short, I think we're going to see a lot of new offerings from these distilleries. It's a good time for the consumer. We're going to see these allocations that were super hard to get become more and more available. We're already seeing that with Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace bourbon itself was allocated, and now it's everywhere because if you just do the math, 2020 to 2026, we're 6 years in, and now we're starting to see that distillate come out. We're seeing it with the Weller line products and about every distillery of the big bunch, anyways. Their offerings are starting to become more available. So it's a good time to be a consumer. It's a good time to be a hobbyist. Yes, the industry is hurting a little bit because they're in a little bit of decline. So, as a consumer, we need to support these distilleries for sure. We need to keep, buying their product when we can and sampling it and doing the things that we're all doing to keep them around to get through the decline because I think, good things are coming in the future. Long story short, I'm really excited about the future of bourbon. I think as the consumer, it's looking bright for us. So tell me what you think. Do you think we're going to start and see more and more allocations? Do you think we're going to have new product lines showing up or maybe single barrel, cask strength, things along those lines? What do you think? Let me know. See you next time.